There are a lot of ways you can do it. If you had time, I give you 20 examples there. But, negotiating, having the government negotiating prices is not one of them. I mean, the government tries to negotiate prices in Part D of Medicare. It becomes very political, and the government basically fixes prices. The government is too big to do that. What Medicare Part D did is basically put pharmacy benefit managers at risk, which they hadn't been before, and had basically in every part of the country you have 5 or 6 different Medicare Part D contractors who basically have their money at risk, and they're the ones that have driven down prices. So Part D has been flat price-wise for almost 10 years. It's worked well. It's driven prices down. And basically the government has contractors as its proxy. But to have CMS or the government, quote, negotiate drug prices, you're basically fixing prices. So I hope he gets beyond that. There are plenty of ways that you can drive down drug prices. You can change the exchange benefits. You can change the way Part D works in Medicare to let the formularies be tougher. There are many ways you can drive down drug prices, but having the government negotiate drug prices, which means fixing prices, is a really bad idea, and I hope I get past that. And I'm pretty sure I know that a lot of the people around 15 years ago we did this, Paul Ryan and others, understand that, and I think eventually we'll get to a good outcome. But there are a lot of ways to knock down drug prices.
The president keeps coming back to that. He seems to be fixated on that idea of all the buying that we do in the government and the fact that we don't get the discounts we should.
Yeah, well, we do get discounts in Part D because the contractors are driving them down, and the Part D prices have been low. There are a lot of other problems around it. I could spend hours on it. I think he's fixed on it because it sounds simple and it's a great populist idea, and I'm sure he's going to get great results from a lot of people by just yelling about it. He's certainly got the pharma guys' attention, and I'm sure to some degree it'll work. But when you get to the technical side of it, fixing prices doesn't work, never has, and won't with drugs. So it's a matter of where you use your market leverage as the government to buy products.
The other request and the issue that President Trump keeps coming back to, Tom, on this is manufacturing drugs in this country. How many of the drugs are manufactured in this country versus abroad, and how realistic is it to bring some of that manufacturing back home?
Well, reimportation's been around for 10 years. That may be something that happens. I'm sure the pharma guys don't like that. I'm guessing that'll be back on the agenda. That is probably not something they'll end up fighting, I would guess, as hard. I think they're very focused on intellectual property protection. A lot of the countries around the world have gone after the IP of a lot of the drug companies, and President Obama was pretty weak on that from their opinion. I think they're hoping President Trump will be a lot stronger. Those issues are probably as important to them as the domestic issues. So there are a lot of different things they can work with President Trump on. And I think there are a lot of ways. The biggest thing they can do to drive down drug prices is probably take Part B, which is the infused, really expensive 100,000 drugs, where most of them are in Medicare, and putting them into Part D, where you actually have somebody at risk. There are a lot of ways you can change the drug pricing and drive down prices and create a lot of positive pressure. But having my old agency, much as I love them, go out and negotiate drug prices, basically fixing prices like we do for docs and hospitals, is just stupid. And we went through that 12, 14 years ago in Part D, and it didn't work. And Part D's worked quite well.